This video is brought to you by Squarespace. Welcome back, everybody. We are going to do one of my favorite types of videos today, and these are the videos where I show your work. I want to get to some of the projects that people have sent me, but I'm going to start this a little bit differently today because I got something that is really special and I want to share it with you guys, and I want to make a couple comments on this. So this is a print that was sent to me by Chung-Ling Lo, who is a very talented photographer. She lives in Toronto. She's also a musician and a percussionist. And full disclosure, we are really good friends on Instagram. She saw the mail video I did a couple weeks ago where I announced that I really had a lot of mail stacking up, and she very sheepishly asked, "Did you ever get my photograph?" And I felt really bad and I dug it out, and I want to show this today, and I want to share her note with you guys, which reads, "Dear Ted, been watching your show since 4 or 5 years now. I find it very knowledgeable and inspiring. Because of the pandemic, I decided to take photography full-time and be a full-time artist. It hasn't been easy, a lot of frustration, and financially it's tough, but watching your videos always makes me feel encouraged, reminding me of the excitement and happiness of when I first started. Thank you so much for doing what you're doing. It surely helps me a lot on the path of pursuing art and photography. Hope you like the print. Chung-Ling." And by the way, that is some fabulous handwriting. So first of all, the print is fabulous. I absolutely love it. And second of all, I want to address a couple things that she mentioned in here because these are things that I get asked about a lot. The notion of the starving artist, and ladies and gentlemen, I can verify the struggle is real. I get a lot of direct messages and emails from people who want me to talk a lot more about the whole idea of becoming an artist for a living. I think when it comes to photography, it's something that a lot of people pick up as a hobby. You start to enjoy it. You realize you have a little talent about it. You start getting really serious about it. And then I think it's pretty natural that a lot of people want to find a way to take this next level. And that's where things get really difficult. In fact, when I was thinking about what I was going to say about this, I came up with ideas for about 5 videos. So if you guys want to see me explore this topic in more depth, please drop a comment and ask me a question in there, and I can kind of narrow it down and get to what people want to know specifically. But I can tell you, as somebody who has done this channel for 13 years now, I used to work at an art museum. During the course of my career, I have had the wonderful opportunity of getting to know many artists on different levels, people who have made it, who are big names, and then smaller people who you wouldn't know their work at this point, but they're working really hard on it, and hopefully one day you will know them. We're talking about making a living as an artist, which is very different than commercial photography. I'm not saying one is less difficult than the other, but the biggest difference between the two is if you're doing commercial photography, you generally will talk to the client, you discuss the needs, what they want to see, what is going to be delivered. You come up with a price that it's going to cost, and then you proceed from there. So in commercial work, you typically come up with the price first. Now, on the art end of things, it's the complete opposite. There are, of course, commission projects, which those end up being a lot like commercial work. But I think for the most part, when you're talking about being an artist as a photographer, you're talking about a long road where you are actually trying to explore your identity. You're asking yourself questions. You're trying to combine an intellect into the work that you're producing. You're trying to do something that's unique, that has your voice on it. And that requires years of practice, a lot of shooting, a lot of analyzing your own work, a lot of self-discovery. And it is a very hard road. And the business end of it is usually very secondary. This is why we have this whole idea of the starving artist. So I'm going to oversimplify this just a little bit for this point in the discussion, but essentially you have these two schools of thought where, okay, on the one hand, you're going to go all in, you're going to be an artist. It means having to starve for your work. It means having to live very cheaply, all for the romance of having this amazing voice and what you're able to do. There are many artists throughout history who have done it this way. There's a second school of thought that says, well, okay, well, you could have a day job and you got to hustle in the evening and on the weekends and whenever you have time, and then that's going to make it happen. Or maybe you're doing commercial photography work and you're doing your fine art stuff on the side, and that's how you're going to pursue being an actual artist. Now, these are two very different ways of looking at this, and usually one does not think very highly of the other. For instance, if you're the starving artist, then you think, well, there's no way you can serve 2 masters if you're really going to be serious about this, and that probably has some legitimacy to it. And then there's the commercial side where it's like, well, at least I'm not going to starve. I'm going to actually eat and pay my rent, and I'm going to find a way to do this in my spare time. The reality is that this is very oversimplified, and there are actually many paths that are in the middle somewhere, and everything in life is an experience, and this is my opinion, and everything adds into the culmination of who you become as a person. I think your choices along the way are very important, but it doesn't mean that there's a right way to do things. In fact, of all of the artists that I've worked with in doing these videos that I've gotten to know, people like Graciela Iturbide, Ralph Gibson, Keith Carter, David Brook over, none of them have done this the same way. There is no prescribed route that you take to get an end result when we're talking about art. It is different for everyone, and each path actually reflects the personality of the person who traveled that road to get there. So I've come full circle here, and I'm telling you that there's no specific answer or no specific path to success. Having said that, though, there are two things that I think that are extremely important that are pretty much prerequisite for anybody who's going to have success really in anything, but particularly in art. One, you need to be inspired. And this is very difficult because as humans, we tend to do things over and over again. And when we're not seeing success out of those things, frustration kicks in, burnout kicks in, and it does become very difficult. I've had this experience, and I don't know anyone who hasn't, to be honest. It is a fact of life. Staying inspired is essential because in times of my life where I'm not inspired, I'm not doing good work, and I'm really not moving forward. And it's a time where I have to refocus and I have to figure out who I want to be, and I have to get inspired again. So inspiration is absolutely critical. The second thing is you have to find out what makes you happy. And this is just more of a life thing than it is a career advice thing. But happiness is absolutely essential. You have to figure out what it is. So when you look at something and you're finding out, like, what does success mean to me? What does success mean to you? What does it mean to somebody else? Happiness is generally part of that. You want to be happy. You want to live your life, and you want to do things that you find fulfillment in. This is easier said than done sometimes. A lot of people equate success, attention, fame, money, things like that would one day make me happy if I could only get them. The problem is that I can tell you in my experience is none of those things really bring you happiness. Sure, if you make a lot of money on a project, that could bring you some relief and some happiness short term. But believe me, I know plenty of people who have a lot of money who are not happy people at all. Attention and popularity also do not equate to happiness. Now, sure, you're working hard at something, and when you start receiving attention for that, maybe people are recognizing your work, you're being interviewed for a magazine, you're in a gallery or you're in a museum. I mean, that's great stuff, and that can make you feel good because you've achieved some level of success in that. But you realize that after a while, that can backfire as well. And if you're not adjusted and you're not happy, what that does is it pigeonholes you, because all of a sudden now you have a lot of people who have an expectation. This is just human nature of what they want to see in your work. Think of your favorite photographers. You know them for a certain type of thing that they do, and that's what you want to see them do. And as soon as that happens, it makes it very hard to progress and venture out of that. There's some people who do. It's just really difficult. So again, defining what is going to make you happy and defining the things that maybe they're a little bit glittery at times, but they're flash in the pan ultimately, is going to help get you through a lot of that stuff. So a few things I wanted to say, because I do get asked about them a lot, and be fair, Chung Ling didn't ask me about it at all, but anyway, I thought it'd be fun to talk about. This is a deep topic, and it's something that I can talk more about, so if you want to hear more about it, let me know in the comments. I do want to get to some other things, but real quick, since we're talking about being an artist and being successful, I think it's fair to ask, you do have a website, right? Well, if you don't, you probably want to check out our sponsor this week, who are the awesome folks over at Squarespace.com. I am actually redesigning my personal website right now, and I'm going to be using Squarespace. So I've been sharing a lot of images with you guys in these videos. This is something that I want to share more of, be able to put links and things to when I have collections made. Squarespace is an awesome place to do that. It really is the easiest way to build a website. You can build an online portfolio. You can even build an e-commerce store on here. The tools have really gotten good. How easy is Squarespace to use? Well, you're going to start with one of their award-winning templates. Now, all of these templates are customizable. Your content is separate from the template, so you can change the entire look. If you feel like you need a complete refresh or you're not sure on something, you can get things to look exactly like you want them. What good is a website if nobody's looking at it? Well, Squarespace have the right social tools and email integrations in here, so you can do your own website promotion as well. My favorite part of Squarespace, well, it's really intuitive. So if you can drag and drop a folder of images, you can build a photo gallery. It's that easy. You can easily go into the settings to customize everything to your liking, hook it up to your own domain. In fact, they sell those too, and you are in business. So head over to Squarespace using the link below this video, and you can try it out for absolutely free. And when you do decide that Squarespace is right for you, I can save you an additional 10% on your first order by using offer code AOP. So once again, offer code AOP. And I want to give a special shout out and thanks to the awesome folks at Squarespace for sponsoring this video. Okay, let's get some more mail. So first up, this is from Matt Brooker, who is from Nottingham, UK, who writes, "Hi Ted, this is a little book I put together from my attempt at the single lens project I tried." It was a video that we did last year where I suggested maybe use one lens for an entire month. I tried a trick that I saw on a Larry Towell video and tried putting my shots into the book template from the start. Helped me to give the project some shape. This project got me out of the creative doldrums, so I wanted to say thank you. Keep up the good work. All the best, Matt. Some really nice monochrome, Matt. Thanks for the book. Next up is a zine I've got 2 copies of, and I cannot read this signature. This is either, it looks like Cliff. Return label says Kirk Chan from Scarborough, Ontario. Either way, the note says, "Hi Ted, just wanted to send you a couple copies of my first zine, and thank you for inspiring me and teaching me through so many years. Never stop doing what you do." Looks awesome. Thanks for sharing. Next up is a book called Maximum Shadow, Minimal Light. This comes to us from Gustavo Minas. "Dear Ted, I hope this finds you well. This book is a collection of images made in the streets of Brasilia, Sao Paulo, and my hometown Casia from 2010 to 2018. I hope you enjoy them and your viewers too. All the best, Gustavo." You can actually order this on Amazon. I'll link it below. Nice work, Gustavo. I really love the color renditions in here. This is really nice work. Good job. This also is available on Amazon. I'll link it in the description if you guys want a copy. So there you go. Finally getting through the stack of mail. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed all this stuff. I will link to everybody in the description below. Catch you guys in the next video. Until then, later.